This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Rivalry week here on the Bryan Moore Show. Glad you're with us as we get ready. The Dogs coming in 2-0 after a couple of big wins. Week 1 over Benjamin Russell, and last week a Thursday night win against Callaway. And we're going to start the show off this week talking wide receivers. And we've got both wide receiver coaches with us. We got Jackson Billings and Jamie Ferguson, and we're going to be talking with some of the players for the Bulldogs here to open up the show this week. But talk about these guys. Start with you, Jackson. Talk about just, the wide receivers have come on pretty strong early in the season.
For sure. Really veteran group, 7 seniors. And we're really player-led. I motivate these guys a lot to be player-led. I want to do as little talking as possible. The more they can lead, the more they can run their group, I think the better it will be. And they've done a great job at doing that, kind of stepping in their own role, doing what they do, and coming on strong these last 2 weeks. And I'm excited to keep this thing going throughout the season.
Yeah, Coach Ferguson, welcome back to the show. I mean, you're on a roll now. There's second appearance here on the Bryan Moore Show.
That's right. 2 times in 3 weeks, so not too bad. But happy to be here with these guys. Tremendous young men, number one, and then really good players. And so happy that they're representing the O, and can't wait to watch them play tonight.
That's right.
Thursday night.
That's right. Well, you look at this group, and it's the running game that gets talked about a lot. And I know it can be difficult sometimes for the wide receivers. When the run game's going good, they may get left out a little bit, but they've got roles to do in that too.
Yeah, for sure. We've talked about it. Both games that when things need to happen, like we're the group we're going to go to. And I think both, the first game versus Ben Russell and the second game versus Callaway, both times I felt like it was the offense. The throwing game and the receivers and quarterback, and of course the O-line and tight ends blocking. But the spark we needed came from the receivers, and that's what we need from this group. They're a dynamic group and really can stretch the field, and we're finding everybody's roles for this year's team. And I'm really pumped. I'm glad that they've rose to the occasion both weeks.
Yeah, Coach Billings, I know, there's been some things to work on with each one individually. One can get better at one thing, one can get better at the other. What is it overall, though, that you want to see improve with this group?
I just want to see them take control more. Like I said, they have the talent and the potential to be the best group in the state at receiver and to really lead this offense and lead this team. And so I just want to see them step into that role, which they've done a great job at. Again, we're growing in that area. But I want to see them have that confidence and have that belief in themselves that, we can lead this offense, we can lead this team, we can really lead our way all the way through the state. And so I want to see them take that ownership, take that role on, and just take control right away and lead this thing head on from start to finish.
All right, 3 seniors join up with us here today in the wide receiver group. We've got Bennet Young, we've got Jalen Washington, and Aundray Vann, who's sort of a new face to Opelika, back with the program. And we'll start with Bennet, senior. And Bennet, talk a little bit about your senior year, and I know you've already made an impact with a touchdown catch so far.
Yes, sir, most definitely. I'm just excited, about this week especially, playing with the guys. It's my last ride, and, I really just want to leave an impact on the guys that are younger and have a good season.
Yeah, and Coach Moore said something to me I thought was pretty big. He says you're one of the smartest guys on offense, and so you can direct everybody, where everybody needs to be, and that's a big piece to be out there, big responsibility.
Yes, sir. I mean, I try to, show what I know out there and help everybody just, whenever anything needs to be said.
Jalen, we'll move over to you. You've had some big catches already this season. What's your goal so far for your senior season?
I just want to win it all as a team.
And I know the Auburn game, big rivalry game, haven't defeated them in varsity yet. I know you're looking forward to the game coming up for Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm ready. We need a win under our belt right now. We can't go 0-4.
And I know you were looking at stepping into one of the big roles, but the guy to your left, Aundray Vann's been a big guy coming in a wide receiver. What do you think about the addition of him before we move over to Aundray?
I like Aundray. He's been my guy since 8th grade. We always been making plays like that.
I'm really familiar with him too, weren't you? Aundray, I know you were at Opelika for a while. You're back here to finish up your senior year, already making an impact. One of the best catches I've seen in a long time last week against Callaway, laying out. Just talk about being back with the team and what you thought about it so far.
Being back, it's been like a crazy journey. Like I said, when I transferred in, I already felt like I was at home. I knew these guys for a while. I've been playing with them since I was young, so it's like normal to me.
And what do you think about the offensive group and the goals for this season?
as the offensive group as a whole, I feel like everybody is like brotherhood. So we all know what we can do, and I feel like just as an offensive team, as a goal, I think that all we gotta do is just execute. We can do whatever.
Coach Ferguson, anything stand out to you? These three guys you want to mention?
Well, I tell you, they all bring, a lot, for our offense. If you think back to the big plays needed, like we talked, Jay Wash has always been that guy. And Vance came in this year as well and really helped us out in pivotal roles. And the great thing is these three, like Coach has already said, like they are the vocal leaders of our room for sure, but not just us, but also the whole offensive side. And we need more of that. And that's like what Coach Billings has been saying is we need these guys to continue to lead because they are leaders, all three of these guys. And they're doing a good job. We do need more from them. They know that. We tell them that daily. And they take that and they run with it. And they're getting better each week.
Yeah, and Coach Billings, something we were talking about off air was, just how good the running game can be. You still got to have that passing attack. And in a big game like an Auburn game or a Central game, you got to have the air attack.
100%. Yeah, I mean, we know what we got in the backfield. Like you said, that's a staple of Opelika. But having the perimeter game to go along with it like we have this year, it opens up the offense big time. And we're seeing it already, and we're going to continue to see it throughout the year.
Good group of wide receivers. We'll continue with more of the Bryan Moore Show with head coach Bryan Moore after this timeout. This is the Bryan Moore Show. Back here on the Bryan Moore Show, presented each week by Glenn Smith Chevy GMC in Opelika. Make sure and go check out that great team there, exit 62 off of I-85 in Opelika. And as they say, get ready to smile. Well, Coach, hopefully smiling after the game on Thursday night against the Auburn Tigers. It's always a challenge and a rivalry game to keep your emotions in check and don't make the game more than it is.
Yeah, I thought last year we did a good job with our emotions. I think they may have had a personal foul or something, a penalty. I can't remember. They had something we kicked off from, in plus territory. I remember watching that and Reese kicking a touchback. So I was pleased that we didn't do any of those things. But now we just got to finish the game, and you're right. The emotions of the game can get you, and it can impact the way that you think through and do your job, and talking, to an opponent across the way that you've known since you were 12 or 4 or whatever. And I just think you got to steer clear of that stuff, to where you're focused on us, our task. And I know that's cliche, and I know coaches say it, and they don't really mean it. They allow still the rivalry or the fact that the game's on television or the fact that, it's the 100th meeting or whatever to impact the game. And we just can't allow that to do, our team to do that. And we've talked at length in our character messaging about mental stillness and trying to get ourselves to neutral. And I know that that's like, whatever, but it's important, play to play in football, and the ebbs and flows sometimes of the game take you out of that, and you just got to reset, man, go right back to neutral and just be better than you were the play before.
Yeah, we were talking, being 2-0 is great, but the line between being 0-2 is very small. And but your team found a way to be 2-0, so that's positives from the first 2 weeks. It
is. In my mind at times, when I'm by myself or whatever, we'll go to that a little bit about, what ifs, but you can't live there.
Right.
It's easy to go there, and but ultimately we found a way to win, and our kids made those plays to win the game, and so just excited about the resilience, excited about the connection of our team, but ultimately we got to play better, and if we don't, it'll be hard for a fourth quarter comeback or to finish a game because, again, it has not been clean. The ball has hit the ground. We've had penalties. We had self-inflicted wounds. We snapped the ball, sailed the ball over our quarterback's head. We've missed point after attempts. We've worked so hard on all those things this week, but we worked hard on those in the summer and in the spring. But ultimately, we got to address them, not make them too big. I caution everybody from doing too much on that, to talk about snaps and kicks and all that. No, just – our kids are capable of doing this. We've seen them do it, and we just got to get back to us. But again, it's nice to do it at 2-0 instead of 0-2, as you said.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things in the Callaway game was when you're at the goal line and things went bad with the snap over the head, the scramble. Callaway gets it, goes down and scores. Late in that ball game, that could have been easily a team that folded and lost the ball game, but you were able to get down the field, drive it, force it to go into overtime, and pick up that win. Well,
credit our leaders first off. As I took off down the sideline to our defense. It was like a negative 30-yard play or whatever,
right.
40-yard play, whatever, all the way to midfield. And so I took off to find our defense because I felt like we needed to make a stop, even if it wasn't in that moment, which we didn't get a stop that drive, but we did later. We had to later. When it mattered the most in a 2-point play or whatever. I just felt like our coaches did a really good job of it's what we're here to do. When adversity strikes, man, fight through it. And, you should want to be out there. If I'm a defender, I want the ball. I want to be in the game with the game on the line, And so I think our kids have done a good job of embracing that. I think our coaches, the way that they went out, we didn't hang our head. Our assistant coaches took off and got our kids ready to play. And so, again, that's resilience. That's what we're hunting for. And ultimately, that's a life lesson, and our kids are learning that right now.
Second time you're the head coach in this rivalry showdown. I know you've been a part of it as an assistant for many years, but talk about the craziness that goes into this game. It's a week-long festivity almost.
It's special. The game is special. I'm very honest with our players. Like, I believe in telling them the truth. And for me to stand up there in front of 190 players, with our ninth graders included, because I do character messaging with them as well, and to say this is just another week is just frankly not true. And, obviously it's got to be about us. I mentioned that, and that's been the whole message during the week. But ultimately, this game is important for our community. The tickets are already sold out. We're airing this on Tuesday, or filming this on Tuesday, and, the tickets are sold out. And, that's how much it matters. I can remember last year, because it's been a long time, and I've been gone for basically a decade, and to walk out and see everybody already there, and to know that this game was sold out from the Monday of that week, is incredible. And I'm thankful to be in a community that cares that much about football and cares about these boys. It cares about our team and our band and everybody involved, that's that pride. And so we want to honor and respect our fans. Like I told the kids this is so much bigger than them. This is for our uncles and mamas and grandmamas, that went to Opelika High School or have been longtime, supporters or residents of our city. And, it's so important to me, our city officials, our administration, our coaches, obviously. And I can promise you this, we've worked and worked and worked to get our team ready. And I know we're going to play better. And I have full confidence in our team. And, I believe we're enough, to win this game. And I believe that our kids are ready to play.
Yeah, and on the other side, I know with that coaching staff over there, you got so much respect for those guys. Coach Keith Etheridge, who's got multiple state championships as a head coach under his resume, their defensive coordinator, Scott Goolsby, the offensive staff in general. It's a well-coached football team. You're going to get their best regardless of what happened last week with their game against Vestavia.
Well, this is a top 5 program, and so is ours, And, I think that anytime you have that, your staff is a quality staff. So, and everybody, are we, rigging things up and designing plays? Of course we are. We're trying to hit big plays, create explosives, stop their big plays, impact in the kicking game, all that stuff. But truthfully, it comes down to executing those things. It comes down to 11 young men being on the same page on the field. Again, we have not done that yet. But we've shown in the past that we can get there and we can play disciplined Opelika football. And we just got to get back to that. And it's about out executing them, because you're not going to outcoach them. You're going to hold up our end,
right.
With our adjustments and things that we do in game. We're not going to beat ourselves, but ultimately we got to execute in the game, and that's my job, to make sure our team has the discipline and the work ethic and the practice habits and things to execute in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah, I know, and encourage all the fans on both sides to get there early. Of course, game day operations, there are metal detectors walking through to get in. I know the week 1, it was packed, and it took a long time for some of the people to get in the game, but that's just one of those things. A big game, get there early, get in,
yeah.
And if you've got a digital ticket, it's for the visiting side. If you've got a paper ticket, it's for the home side, so some important things. And
Absolutely.
I know we're excited about, anytime you play in front of a packed house, like the Ben Russell game,
yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be more people in the stands than it was that game, which is hard to believe, too.
It's unreal, and we're going to need those people.
Yeah.
These people who are listening to the show, we have to impact the game on our side. We got to be quiet when we're supposed to be quiet. When we're on offense, we got to get really loud on 3rd downs and 4th downs. We got to use that great band of ours, Mr. Wagner and McGlynn, and everybody involved, our cheerleaders. We got to have the central feel, and even more. I don't need to be waving, get up and get going. If it's 3rd down, I need people standing and yelling.
Right.
Heck with the social scene, and I want you to want to be there and look good and everything, wear your new earrings.
Yeah.
But I need you to get up there and yell and get our kids going, because
yeah.
Believe it or not, man, and I remember this as a player, and I dang sure know it as a coach, when those people are behind you, again, you feel that you're playing for something bigger than yourself. You feel them behind you, and you know that it's just that extra little bit of energy and juice that we need. Maybe, you know, when I've played 65 snaps and I got to go one more time and pass rush. Now I'm baby TJ out there and I got to go get that quarterback one more time. That little bit of juice, man, that's what gets us over the hump. And we got to bring our A game as a city, not just as a program. We're going to do our part, but we got to have our people there to support us. I know they'll be there. They're always there. But get up, get loud, and let's get going and get behind these kids and push them, give them that little extra that they need to win.
Yeah, and if you're not up on third down, there's a chance Coach McCracken could be hanging out the window.
He'll be out the window.
He could be
sure.
out the window.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, Coach, good luck.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man.
And don't forget, Thursday night, Bulldog Stadium, kickoff 7, I believe 11, but get there early as soon as the gates open. And let's pack out Bulldog Stadium Thursday night for the 100th meeting between Opelika and Auburn. And we'll see you next week right here on the Bryan Moore Show.